First and foremost, give all praises and glory and honor is due to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Ruwell. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Those in the gospel brought up the standard of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Yeah, Esau messing with my stream. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just shut it down, and I'm gonna just actually do an actual lesson on it, man. Because when I shut this thing down, I only got a feeling that maybe 2 or 3 seconds of the video is gonna be uploaded. All right, unless it's actually clear. Now, if it's clear, then give me a thumbs up. If not, then just let me know. Then I'll just do it again. Ashemaya, Robert Button. Yeah, just let me know if it's still glitching. If not, then I'll go ahead and I'll figure something else out. That's crazy. You can't even do a lesson in the car without it going left. But anyway, so I guess it's okay. But anyway, so going back into the point, you know, standing your law, standing your ground, and all that other shit. We don't have the luxury of doing that. You know what I'm saying? We get penalized for every little thing. I mean, you know, because we're in the land of our captivity. So with that being said, man, it's just best to try to keep yourselves out of situations. And we're not saying that brothers go anywhere looking for trouble, but you know, the scriptures say, he that rooted the spirit is one that taketh the city. You know, and you know, you got to have that piece of tranquility about you, man, because just because somebody's coming up and trying to make you feel little or belittle you doesn't mean that you're actually a small person. Okay, but see, what happens is pride gets involved, and you know, egos get hurt, and in your mindset, because we've grown up without real structure, and most Jakes grew up under their mother, so Jake don't have the balance of regulating emotions. So therefore, the first thing they think is violence. This nigga trying to punk me. Who the fuck this nigga think he is? So therefore, we gotta fight. You know. And usually, you know, words can start fights, but at the same time, us as men of the Lord, we got to be above the words, man. Now, if somebody's threatening your safety and looking to harm you, then that's different. Somebody putting their hands on you, that's different. You know what I'm saying? If somebody's talking from across the room, it is what it is. But the minute this guy comes up and he wants to be in your face, then you got to defend yourself. And oftentimes, the spirit will have you to prevail because they provoked it. Now, if you provoked it, and you're actually inciting it and inciting the fight or inciting the riot, then the Lord can have you to get dealt with, because the scriptures say we're not supposed to be brawlers. Okay, now I get it. You know, brothers are warriors. We're frustrated. We want to see this place go down, and ultimately we want to see you niggas get your just due. You know, and like I said, you will get your just due, but we can't go anywhere looking for trouble, man. Okay, a guy like myself, I tend to try to stay out the light, but it's not always easy because for whatever reason, I attract a lot of attention, whether it be good or bad. And it's not always negative, but men like us stand out. You know, like it can be 6 of us and we can go out somewhere, and some way, somehow, the fucking trouble will rest on my shoulders, you know, because for the simple fact that that's how it is. And the spirit, like, well, if you've been in this thing for some time, you're a little more seasoned, you know, you're going to deal with more tests than the younger brothers. So you have to lead and be an example, okay? Because if brothers see you out here brawling and fighting, and then they going to think it's okay to just go out and beat people up. And then that's a bad example, because ultimately we're not in that spirit, you know? So, yeah, man, just be circumspect, you know? Just stay prayed up before you even get in the whip, before you even get in your car or whatever. Say up some prayers, man, all right? Because prayers is essential. That's our lifeline. That's our weapon in this thing is prayer, okay? Because what it tells us, it says the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're spiritual, man. And through the breaking down and casting down of imaginations, our warfare is spiritual, okay? We're not out here with Uzis and machetes and AK-47s, you know, looking to slice people up, because you got other Israelite camps out there that come in that spirit of the world, okay? They come in that spirit of being carnal. And we know what it tells us in the book of Romans, the 8th chapter, about how the carnal mind is enemy with the Most High, all right? So we can't operate from a carnal standpoint. Now, like I mentioned, if things come knocking on our door, then you got to deal with it according to the Spirit. But at the same time, when you go out in public, you know what I'm saying, you ain't got to be mean mugging nobody, man, you know? And usually, you know, we don't have any problems. Every once in a while, but we usually don't have any problems. People are pretty much well-mannered. You know, they're pretty respectful. People respect our space. You know, they respect what we do. So all the time, you know, I feel like we are protected. You know, especially like when I go out, sometimes I feel protected because even though you might have a lot of griminess going on in an area, a lot of times the Lord doesn't have that energy to come towards me because we're not looking for it. You know? So it's always good to put Yahweh Shem Yahushua first in all endeavors, man. Okay, we're coming into the time now. Esau is going to send mercenaries. He's going to send people to try to fuck with you. He's going to send agents. He's going to send things to try to get a reaction out you so he could be justified on demonizing the ministry, man. And this is why you have to think for the collective and not just yourself. Okay, this is a body. So it takes a body effort to keep us up and running, man. Okay, like the legs. Yeah, you got the legs in the body, you got the arms, but they work as a collective to keep the body in balance. Okay, the leg ain't just thinking I mean, yeah, it controls its faculties, but at the same time, the brain ain't just thinking, you know, to feed the belly. It's looking to keep the body safe and protected. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we have to operate in the spirit, you know, and be in the right spirit, because if not, then, you know, hey, Yahweh Shem Yahushua will deal with us. Okay? And shalom to you, Akim Akwathium out there. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Brakathum. Yeah, I was having some issues earlier with the stream, but I think it managed to balance itself out. But who knows with these things? I can upload the video and only 5 minutes of the video is up. You know, so we're not even gonna play with Satan today, man. It is what it is. Monday. Okay. But other than that, Ephesians 5:15, be circumspect, brothers. You know, learn from examples, learn from situations you've been through, pay attention to the signs, you know, read the room, because eventually trouble is gonna come knocking at our door because of what we teach. Okay, it ain't gotta be because you're a bad person. And most brothers I know, very tame, very tranquil. We out the way. We're not looking for trouble. We're cordial with our neighbors. You know what I'm saying? We're not bringing too much attention to ourselves. You know, and that's good. But what we're about, hey, Yahweh Shem Yahushua said it. He said, when thou comes to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for what? Temptation. Okay? Prepare thy soul for temptation. So you're going to have the tempter that's going to throw things at you to get you off your square, man. And you just got to know how to operate in the spirit. And a lot of times, you learning how to operate in the spirit comes from being put through certain tests that you're going to fail. Okay? You may not know how to move in a certain situation, and the Lord will let you get, you know, he'll let you get bumps and bruises from the situation. It could be something as small as a fender bender, or it can be an altercation. It could be, you know, a bill. It could be anything, you know, because you may say, well, I was never taught how to move, so how the fuck am I supposed to know? Well, that's the point. The Lord gonna teach you. Okay, the scriptures say that he will send a comforter and he should teach you all things. Okay, Yahweh Shem Yahushua would teach you how to move by putting you through certain situations and, you know, not knowing what moves to not make next time. You know, and that's just how you learn. So you got to expect those tests too, that you may get banged up, because it's a fight at the end of the day. And every fight that you get in, you're going to get hit. Okay. Like when I train sometimes, the coach, he always say, look, he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm fighting. He said, what happens in a fight? You hit and you get hit. He said, okay, then. So if you're anticipating on getting hit, you can better embrace for it, meaning that you can know what you got to do, you know, because if you going into a fight and thinking you're not going to get touched, then you psyching yourself out and you'll get hurt that way because your mind is not ready. It's the same thing in the truth. Okay, when you're in this faith, you got to expect to be put through certain situations that's going to hurt. Okay, like a great man once said, a very close friend of mine in the faith, he said that, look, man, you had to know what it's like to get your heart broke. You got to know what it's like to be embarrassed. You got to know what it's like to lose. You got to know what it's like to be broke. You got to know what it's like to get sick. Okay, you got men in this thing that's dealing with all kinds of shit, but you will never know because they're soldiering up. Like the scriptures say, therefore be a good soldier in Yahweh. And when you go into that word soldier, it goes in being solitary, solitude. Okay, so this is a battle and you're going to go through things, man. All right, so try not to let it discourage you or get you off your rocker, but always look for the best situations possible, man. You know, if it's a woman you're dealing with and you got a bad feeling about her, hey, you may just say, look, baby, I don't know about this, man. But a lot of times Jake be so blinded by trying to get his nut off to the point he don't give a fuck. He'll just go deal with a ratchet woman, and his ass is in hell for the rest of his life, man. How do I know? Because, hey, I've done it before. I've dealt with women that wasn't necessarily good for me, you know, but hey, it happens. Shit happens. But now I know what not to do, because I would never allow myself to be put in those unfavorable situations again. How about you? How should I be with me? Okay, so that's the difference. So anyway, just a little quick lesson through the spirit, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Hakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone at rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the whole full elect. Lord's word, you will edify. And to the next lesson. Shalom.